Hi, this is Chatterboxing. I'm Sean. I want to talk about Ryan Garcia, Luke Campbell. Presumably, you all know already that the WBC has ordered the fight between the two to be the final eliminator, to be the mandatory for Devin Haney, I believe. I absolutely love the fight. I think it's a great fight. I think it's one of the best that can be made in the lightweight division. It's not one that people have, well, I certainly haven't heard people really talking about it. It's caught me somewhat by surprise, pleasantly surprised, but it's not something that I expected to happen. And to be honest with you, as much as I do like the idea of it, and I love the style matchup, I'm not really convinced that it is going to happen. I've got my doubts. I would be surprised, to be honest, if Ryan Garcia and his team took the fight. Now, a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, I just think that the way boxing is nowadays, particularly in America, not exclusively, but it seems to be rife over there at the moment. A lot of these young lads, the young prospects, seem to have a very, very high valuation of themselves, and they seem to be asking for a lot of money, and if the money's not to their liking or anywhere near to their liking, then they're just not up for taking it. Now obviously you can say, well, it's up to them, they're the ones getting in there. Yeah, I mean, that is true, but at the same time, you've got to pay your dues and you've got to make your name, and then you can start getting the money. It just seems to me a lot of these newer generation want to have that sort of Floyd Mayweather style reward without putting all the work in. And we saw recently Shakur Stevenson turned down a fight with Josh Warrington because he didn't like the money. Now look, I don't know what exactly the money was, so I can't say whether he was wrong or right in that respect. But I did get the impression that he hasn't really done much yet. Do you know what I mean? This was an opportunity for him to unify titles. He's talking about he's going to be the best in the game. He's going to be like a legend and all the right stuff. But to do that, sometimes you've got to take these opportunities, and and the money's not always going to be 100% what you want it to be. So I just think that's I wouldn't say like a modern phenomenon. I just think it's very, very common these days that a lot of these young fighters like pricing themselves out of stuff. I definitely get that vibe from Ryan Garcia. I mean, he turned down, I think, 200 grand or something like that for the last fight against someone who, it was just a tick-over fight. It wasn't going to be a challenge for him. I don't know, for me, that's just not a very good sign. And I don't know the details of his contract, but just the fact that he hasn't fought for a while, he's on the zone, there's not going to be any fans there. This is just a case of keeping yourself busy, keep putting your name out there for an event that's not really going to generate that much money, and he's just not up for it. Now, if he was, like 30 and he'd been through a load of fights, he'd paid his dues, I would say one thing. But for someone who's like 21, never been in a hard fight in his life, against someone that's just going to be a knockover job, to me that just shows that there's definitely a big possibility that he's a bit of a diva, or like at least thinks that he's a superstar already. Probably because he's got a load of followers on Instagram, that he's now able to just sort of command like sort of top dollar for all these fights, which to me is not a good sign for someone of his age. So I don't know how much money there's going to be in this fight, but I've just got a feeling that that's going to be an issue, because I don't think they're going to particularly want it anyway, really. Not necessarily him personally, but his team. I don't think that his team are going to be particularly up for it. It's not something that they pick themselves, it's something that's been thrust upon them. And I just think the way his career has been so far, the way his career looks like they want it to go, it doesn't seem to me like an ideal opponent at this stage. I mean, they're trying to build him up to be the next big star, and so far he looks like he's got a lot of potential. Very good fighter from what I've seen so far. Quick, powerful, good to watch, good looking. Got a lot of as I say, like the social media followers, can cross over to a more like mainstream audience. So there's that potential for him to really go on and do big things, like follow the kind of Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya obviously like fought against everyone. I don't mean in that respect. I just mean trying to get him to those sort of levels of superstardom. Also, bearing in mind the way boxing is now, with everyone just wanting to protect their undefeated record, I think that's going to be a big part of his marketing. So for that reason, I just think it's going to be quite unlikely, because Ryan Garcia, he talks a lot. He's always saying he wants to do this, he wants to do that. This is an opportunity for him to back it up. So I'd love to see him do it, because I think it's a great fight. If it does happen, it's a great style matchup. I think Luke Campbell, aside from being by far the best opponent he would have faced on various levels, he's also got the dimensions to make this a completely different fight to the fights he's been in thus far. Luke Campbell is also tall. He's also got long range. I mean, he's a southpaw. I heard Garcia say that he likes fighting southpaw. I mean, I haven't seen him fight any southpaws personally, but maybe he's bashing them all up in the gym. I don't know. But someone like Luke Campbell, who's tall, long, southpaw, well schooled, Olympic gold medalist, tough, game, experienced, great trainer in Shane McGuigan, great tactics, good engine, physically in his prime. That's a big ask for someone like Garcia. As good as he's looked so far at that level, this is a completely different kettle of fish. So just in terms of everything, in terms of will to win, in terms of skill, physical strength, size. So yeah, I would be picking Luke Campbell to win if it did happen. I think he's not saying Ryan Garcia won't go on to become a better fighter, but I think as of right now, I would pick Luke Campbell to beat him. Having said that though, as with any of these prospects that look very dominant at a low level, I wouldn't say that with any real confidence, because I do like what I've seen from Ryan Garcia. He does look the part, absolutely. He's very, very quick, powerful puncher, a decent punch selection as well, because the last two wins where he just sparks them with a left hook. I think I've heard a lot of people talking as if he's only got the left hand. He doesn't. He's good with his right hand as well. He's got a good punch selection. His punches are always very crisp and sharp, accurate. He looks very good. He looks like a very good fighter. But we haven't seen him tested. Also, to me, he's a bit upright so far, and a little bit, not stiff, that's not the right word. I don't know how I can sort of, but just his stance, he's kind of very upright, and he's used to having a bit of a height and reach advantage. I think against Luke Campbell would be able to, he's very good at hitting the body from like quite looping long punches. I could see him struggling a lot with Luke Campbell at range. In fact, I can see him getting out of box by Luke Campbell at range. I think Luke Campbell will be busier than him. Obviously, like, very experienced, he's gritty as well if he does get hurt, which he could well get hurt against Garcia. He's a powerful puncher and a spiteful puncher. So yeah, I certainly wouldn't be writing Ryan Garcia off, and I'd love to see it, but I need to see a bit more from him before I could pick him against someone like Luke Campbell. In terms of where the fight would take place, that would obviously be a factor. Presumably it would be in America. I think that it would be a much bigger event in the UK in terms of the crowd, and obviously that's a factor. We don't know what's going on with all this, live gates and stuff, so that's a difficult one. But imagining that this was a few months down the line, things had gone back to normal, let's just hypothetically imagine, then it would be bigger in the UK in terms of the actual crowd, etc. But America, the TV money that the Zone offers, I think Sky can't or wouldn't want to try and compete with. And obviously the Zone would want to have that fight in America. Ryan Garcia is one of their rising stars. That's the kind of fight they want to have on at prime time. So if it did happen, it would happen in America. Luke Campbell's fought in America a couple of times before, looked very good doing it, so that shouldn't be a problem for him. I don't know if it would be a problem for Ryan Garcia coming over to fight somewhere like Hull, big crowd, like young kid. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't, but I don't think that would happen anyway. So I think the fight would happen in America, which is a factor, obviously, because we have seen other you know, golden boy fighters get quite generous treatment on the scorecards over there in the past. So this, like Canelo's mate, like a stable mate as well, golden boys, you know, next big thing for the, you know, Mexican American boxing. Yeah, maybe I'm being a bit optimistic, thinking that Luke Campbell can get a victory on the scorecards, because, you know, I think if it did, I think it probably would go 12 rounds. So if I was going to pick, I'd probably pick Luke Campbell. I think he would win. He would have to win very, very convincingly, I think, to get the nod over there against Ryan Garcia. But yeah, anyway, that's all I've really got to say about it for now. As I say, hopefully, fingers crossed this happens, because I think it's a great fight. I hope that Ryan Garcia proves me wrong and takes it, because I do like what I've seen from him, but I want to see him fight against someone who can hit back now. And yeah, let me know what you lot think. Thank you very much for watching.